Let me begin today by telling you something that changed my entire life. Wealth, real wealth, is not loud. It's not flashy. It doesn't arrive one morning with trumpets and confetti. No, wealth is quiet. Wealth is subtle. Wealth tiptoes into your life through the small habits you practice when no one is watching. Most people think wealth is something you chase. They think you have to run toward it with everything you've got. But here's what I discovered. You don't chase wealth. You attract it. And you attract it by becoming a person of value, a person of discipline, a person who handles the small things with care. One of my mentors sat me down when I was 25. I was broke. I was embarrassed. I was full of excuses. And he said, Jim, your bank account is not the problem. Your habits are the problem. Wealth doesn't start with money. Wealth starts with mindset. It starts with awareness. It starts with discipline. And that was the day I learned that fortunes are not built in public. Fortunes are built in private, long before they ever show up on paper. If you want to change your income, you must first change your habits. If you want to change your future, you must first change your daily disciplines. Because success is not something you do once. Success is something you do daily. You see, wealth is less about the big opportunities and more about the small decisions. The quiet decisions. The decisions you make when you wake up. The decisions you make before bed. The decisions you make when no one claps, no one notices, and no one knows. Today, we're not talking about luck. We're not talking about talent. We're talking about 10 simple habits that anyone, yes, even someone starting from scratch, can develop. 10 habits that slowly, quietly, and steadily move you from scarcity to abundance, from wishing to achieving, from surviving to thriving. These habits are not complicated. They don't require a degree. They don't require genius. They require only one thing, the willingness to begin, the willingness to take charge of your philosophy, your behavior, your time, and your daily choices. Because wealth is a choice long before it becomes a reality. So as we begin this journey together, remember this. You don't get wealthy by accident. You get wealthy by design. And today, we start designing. Now, let's begin with the first habit. And let me tell you, this one is foundational. If you master this habit, you begin walking the path of wealth. If you ignore it, you drift into the land of financial mystery. And my friends, that's a dangerous place to live. Habit number 1, track every dollar. Write it down, measure it, be aware of it. Wealth begins with awareness, not money awareness. Most people think they have a money problem. No, they don't. They have a not paying attention problem. And when you don't pay attention, money has a way of slipping through your fingers like water through a sieve, gone before you know it, gone before you can account for it, and gone before you can build anything meaningful. I used to ask people, where did your money go this month? And you know what most would say? Well, I'm not sure. Let me give you a clue. If you're not sure where your money went, it went somewhere you didn't intend. Because intentional money creates wealth. Unattended money creates regret. You see, rich people track their money. Poor people guess. Rich people measure. Poor people hope. Rich people know their numbers. Poor people fear their numbers. And the difference? Just a few minutes a day. That's all. Every day, not once a month, not every Sunday, every day, take 3 minutes and record your spending. Every dollar earned, every dollar spent. Doesn't matter if it's a cup of coffee or a major investment. Write it down. Because the simple act of writing engages the mind, and an engaged mind is a wealthy mind. Awareness leads to clarity. Clarity leads to control. Control leads to discipline. And discipline, my friends, leads to wealth. One of the things I learned early on is this. You can't improve what you don't measure. And you can't grow what you don't understand. Tracking your money is not about restriction. It's not a punishment. It's not deprivation. Tracking your money is about ownership, the first step in mastering your financial life. When you start tracking your money, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see patterns. You uncover habits. You learn which choices nourish your future and which steal from it. You begin to understand your financial personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, your impulses, your blind spots. Wealthy people aren't lucky. They're aware. They know where every dollar is going, and more importantly, they know why it's going there. So make this your first daily discipline. 3 minutes, a pen, a notebook. Track every dollar that moves through your hands. Do this for 30 days, and you won't need me to convince you. You'll feel it. You'll see it. You'll know it. Because the moment you become aware, you stop being a victim of money, and you start becoming a master of it. Let's move now to the second habit, and this one is so simple, so modest, that most people overlook it. And that, my friends, is exactly why most people stay stuck. Habit number 2. Read 10 pages of wealth wisdom every single day. 10 pages. That's all. Not a book a day. Not a chapter an hour. Just 10 simple, deliberate pages. But here's the secret. 10 pages a day doesn't stay 10 pages. 10 pages becomes a book in a month, dozens of books in a year, and a completely different philosophy in a lifetime. Because what you read, you think about. What you think about, you internalize. What you internalize, you act on. And what you act on becomes your destiny. I used to tell my audiences, miss a meal if you have to, but don't miss your reading. Why? Because food feeds the body, but reading feeds the mind. And the mind is what builds your fortune. Every wealthy person I ever met was a student long before they were a success. Some studied business. Some studied psychology. Some studied communication, leadership, persuasion. But all of them studied something. 10 pages a day of good ideas will do more for your future than 10 hours a week of mindless entertainment. Because reading is the gateway to transformation. Reading is the fertilizer for your philosophy. Reading is the mentor you sit with when you don't have a mentor yet. You may say, Jim, I'm not a big reader. Well, then become one. Not because you love books, but because you love your future. Because you love your family. Because you love the idea of becoming more than you currently are. Let me tell you something powerful. You can't earn more than you learn. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. And 10 pages a day is the easiest, simplest, least expensive way to grow your personal development. 10 pages of wealth, wisdom, 10 pages of business insight, 10 pages of personal discipline, 10 pages of success philosophy. It doesn't matter where you start. Just start. Because when you read every day, you begin shaping a new mind, a wealth-building mind, a decisive mind, a mind that sees opportunity where others see obstacles. And here's the magic. You don't change overnight, but 10 pages at a time. The person you become on page 1 is not the same person you are on page 1 to 1,000. Suddenly, you speak differently. You think differently. You negotiate differently. You expect differently. And life pays you accordingly. So remember this. Money doesn't grow your mind. Your mind grows your money. Feed it daily and watch your whole life rise. Now let's continue with the third habit, and let me tell you, this one has the power to transform not just your bank account, but your reputation, your opportunities, and the very way the world responds to you. Habit number 3. Ask yourself every single day, how did I add value today? Not how busy was I? Not how many hours did I put in? Not even did I work hard? Because let me remind you, you don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. The marketplace rewards value. The world respects value. People pay for value. And if you want more income, you must bring more value. It really is that simple. Most people confuse activity with accomplishment. They run, they rush, they hustle, but they never stop to ask, did anything I did today actually matter? Did I move the needle? Did I contribute something meaningful? Let me give you a secret. The people who grow rich are not the ones who do everything. They are the ones who do the right things, the valuable things, the things that solve problems, help people, create impact, and leave a mark on someone's day. So each night before you sleep, before you end the day, take a moment and ask yourself, how did I add value today? Did you help someone at work? Did you offer an idea? Did you solve a problem? Did you grow in a way that lets you contribute more tomorrow? Did you take a step that makes you more useful, more capable, more valuable to your family, your job, your business, your community? Because value doesn't just come from what you produce. Value comes from who you become. You see, when you ask this question daily, two things happen. First, you train your mind to look for opportunities to contribute. You begin spotting problems you can solve, ideas you can refine, inefficiencies you can eliminate. You become a person of solutions, not complaints. Second, you begin measuring the day by what you gave, not merely by what you did. And that simple shift from time spent to value created is the mindset of every successful person I've ever known. Let me tell you something important. When you increase your value to the marketplace increases its value to you. Raise your value. You raise your income. Raise your contribution. You raise your opportunities. Raise your usefulness. And life raises your rewards. But it begins with awareness, with the daily examination of how you showed up. So tonight, when the day is done, don't just close your eyes, close your day. Ask the question. Review the answer. Adjust the plan. And tomorrow, bring just a little more value. Because when value becomes your daily focus, wealth becomes your natural outcome. Now let's continue with habit number 4. And this one, my friends, is a wealth builder of the highest order. Because if tracking your money shows you where you are, and reading shapes your philosophy, and adding value strengthens your contribution, then this habit multiplies your earning potential for the rest of your life. Habit number 4, every day, practice one skill that increases your earning power. Just one. One deliberate skill. One intentional upgrade. One small improvement that makes you just a little more valuable than you were yesterday. Because here's the truth. You don't get wealthy by working harder. You get wealthy by becoming better. Most people want more money. Fewer want more skill. Most people want higher income. Fewer want higher competence. But the marketplace doesn't reward desire. It rewards ability. And ability is built slowly, quietly, consistently through daily practice. When I was 25, my mentor said, Jim, if you want to earn more, learn more. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. And that became a philosophy I lived by. You see, wealth flows to skill. Skill in communication. Skill in leadership. Skill in decision-making. Skill in solving problems. Skill in sales. Persuasion. Strategy. Creativity. Skill in understanding people, which, by the way, may be the greatest skill of all. You don't need to master every skill, but you do need to master something. Something the world values, something the marketplace needs, something that separates you from the crowd. So each day, dedicate 20 to 30 minutes to sharpening one skill. Not for a week, not for a month. Daily. Because daily practice compounds, daily learning compounds. Daily improvement compounds. And soon, you become the kind of person who can walk into any room and make yourself indispensable. Let me tell you something important. A skilled person never goes hungry. A skilled person never stays stuck. A skilled person always has options. Why? Because skill attracts opportunity. Skill attracts responsibility. Skill attracts income. And the beautiful part? You don't have to start as an expert. You start as a student, a willing student, who practices a little every day. Read for 10 pages. Practice for 30 minutes. Reflect for 5. That's 45 minutes a day. 45 minutes that could change your career, your confidence, and your entire financial destiny. Imagine 1 year of that. Imagine 5. Imagine 10. You would be unrecognizable, not because life got easier, but because you became better. So choose your skill, choose your path, choose your discipline, and practice daily, quietly, consistently. Because when your skill rises, your income has no choice but to rise with it. Now let's continue with habit number 5, and this one might sting a little, because it requires honesty. It requires courage, and it requires the discipline most people avoid. Habit number 5, limit your entertainment and expand your education. Let me tell you something important. There's nothing wrong with entertainment until entertainment becomes your lifestyle. A movie now and then is fine. A little relaxation, perfect. A ball game on the weekend, enjoy it. But when entertainment becomes the center of your life, your dreams quietly begin to die from neglect. Entertainment costs, education pays. Most people don't know this, so they live upside down. Hours of entertainment, minutes of education, hours of distraction, moments of growth, hours consuming other people's dreams, and only seconds working on their own. My friends, that's not a recipe for wealth. That's a recipe for regret. When I was younger, I made the mistake many people make. I thought life was about amusement. I wanted to be entertained. And guess what? My results matched my priorities. Not much money, not much progress, not much direction. Then a wise mentor looked me in the eyes and said, "Jim, if you keep feeding your mind with junk, don't be surprised when your life looks like junk." That was harsh, but it was true. He told me, "You won't become wealthy with more entertainment. You'll become wealthy with more education." That day, I made a decision. 1 hour a day, every day, dedicated to learning. Not scrolling, not distracting, not entertaining myself to death. Learning, and that decision changed my life. You see, education isn't just books. It's thinking, reflecting, listening to ideas that stretch your imagination, studying the people who have built what you want to build, feeding your mind with the kind of thoughts that upgrade your character, your strategy, your future. Entertainment gives you pleasure for a moment. Education gives you options for a lifetime. So here's the challenge. Trade 1 hour of entertainment each day for 1 hour of education. Just one. Turn off the noise. Turn off the gossip. Turn off the distraction. Open a book. Listen to a lecture. Review your goals. Plan your future. Because you'll discover something remarkable, your mind, when fed properly, becomes your greatest asset. And let me tell you, the world pays a premium for people with a refined mind, a disciplined mind, a strategic mind, a mind trained on ideas instead of distractions. So limit the entertainment. Expand the education. Not because entertainment is bad, but because your future is worth more than constant amusement. You're not building a life of comfort. You're building a life of meaning. And meaning requires learning. Give your mind the daily nourishment it deserves, and soon your results will rise to meet your new level of thinking. Now, let's move to habit number 6, and if there is one habit that separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, this is it. This is the habit that quietly moves you from wandering through life to directing your life. Habit number 6, build a written wealth plan and review it nightly. Let me say it plainly. A life without a plan is a life left to chance. And a life left to chance almost always ends in disappointment. I've said it for years. Don't start your day until you've finished it on paper. Don't start your week until you've finished it on paper. Don't start your financial future until you've finished it on paper. Why? Because the moment you write something down, you move it from imagination to intention, from wishes to strategy, from someday to starting today. Most people carry their goals in their head, and that's the problem. The head is a wonderful place for ideas, but a terrible place for storage. Thoughts float. Dreams drift. Plans evaporate. But the written word, that has power. A written plan clarifies your direction. It disciplines your decisions. It protects you from distraction. And it reminds you every night of the person you said you wanted to become. So what belongs in a written wealth plan? Write your financial goals clearly, simply, boldly. How much you want to earn, how much you want to save, how much you want to invest, how much you want to give, how much you want to grow. Write the skills you must develop. Write the habits you must strengthen. Write the relationships you must build. Write the mistakes you refuse to repeat. And then review it nightly. Not yearly, not monthly, nightly. Because the more often you look at something, the more your subconscious begins working on it. Ideas come more easily. Opportunities stand out more clearly. Distractions become easier to ignore. Your mind becomes a loyal servant, working around the clock to bring your plan to life. Let me tell you something powerful. People without written goals usually work for people who do have written goals. Make sure you're in the right category. A written wealth plan isn't about pressure, it's about focus. It's a compass, a map, a promise to yourself that you will not drift through your days, but direct them with purpose. And when you review it nightly, you close each day with intention. And you begin the next one with clarity. That's how champions build their lives. That's how wealthy people create their futures. And that's how ordinary people become extraordinary. One written plan, reviewed one quiet night at a time. Now, let's continue with the final 4 habits. And these, my friends, are the habits that don't just build wealth, they multiply it. These habits take you from steady improvements to exponential growth. Because wealth doesn't grow in a straight line, it grows like a curve, slow at first, then suddenly rapid and undeniable. Let's begin. Habit #7, strengthen your associations. Your network is your school. Let me give you one of the great truths of life. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not the 5 you admire. Not the 5 you follow online. The 5 you spend your time with. Your income, your beliefs, your habits, your expectations, they all rise or fall with the company you keep. When I was struggling, my mentor said, "Jim, if you want your life to improve, be brave enough to upgrade your associations." That was tough to hear, but it was exactly the truth I needed, because poverty has associations. Mediocrity has associations. And so does wealth, excellence, discipline, and achievement. Spend time with complainers, and you'll complain. Spend time with thinkers, and you'll think. Spend time with producers, and you'll produce. Spend time with the wealthy, not just financially, but wealthy in character, vision, and ethics, and you rise with them. Your network is your school. Your associations are your teachers, and your environment is shaping you, whether you notice it or not. Choose wisely. Choose intentionally. Choose the company that calls you higher. Habit #8, set one income-producing task every day. Here's a habit that can transform your financial life faster than almost anything else. Every day, perform one income-producing task. Just one. Not 10, not 50, not everything on your list. Just the one task that brings money closer. It could be a call, a proposal, a skill session, a piece of content, a product improvement, a conversation, a sale, a pitch, an idea refined or executed. But it must be a task that contributes directly to your earning power. Let me remind you, income is the fruit of seeds planted earlier. If you plant nothing today, don't expect a harvest tomorrow. And here's the magic. One income-producing task a day sounds small, but that's 365 meaningful seeds a year. Do you think you can remain poor after planting 365 seeds? Not a chance. Daily effort creates momentum. Momentum creates opportunity. Opportunity creates income. Do the income-producing task every day. Habit #9, protect your health. Your wealth depends on it too. Let's move to habit number 9, and this one is commonly ignored, yet essential. Protect your health. Why? Because a tired body makes poor decisions. A foggy mind misses opportunity. A weak spirit loses discipline. And a sick body steals from your financial future. Your body is the machine that carries your ambition. It is the vehicle of your purpose. And if your vehicle breaks down, it doesn't matter how great your destination is. Wealthy people understand this. They treat their health like an asset, because it is. Eat well. Move your body. Rest deeply. Stay hydrated. Reduce the noise. Reduce the toxins. Reduce the stress. Remember, sickness is expensive. Energy is profitable. A strong body gives you the stamina to build wealth. A sharp mind gives you the clarity to keep it. A peaceful spirit gives you the resilience to grow it. Protect your health because your wealth depends on it. Habit has on zero. Review your day. Reflection creates wealth. And now, the final habit. Habit number 10. The habit that turns effort into improvement and improvement into success. Review your day. Reflect, measure, adjust. I've said it for decades. Don't just go through the day, get from the day. Most people rush into bed without understanding what their day taught them. But the achiever stops. The achiever reviews. The achiever asks, what did I learn today? What mistake will I never repeat? What value did I create? What skill did I strengthen? What should I improve tomorrow? Reflection turns life into wisdom. Wisdom turns action into progress. And progress, repeated long enough, turns into wealth. You can't manage what you don't measure. You can't improve what you don't examine. You can't grow from what you refuse to face. Review the day, because a reviewed day becomes a better day, and enough better days create a better life. These final 4 habits multiply your wealth. They shape your mindset, refine your behavior, and transform your results. Strengthen your associations. Plant your income seeds daily. Protect the body that carries your dreams. Review your day so you don't repeat your mistakes. Practice these habits and soon, wealth won't just be something you pursue. It will be something you attract. And now, my friends, as we come to the close of this lesson, let me leave you with something I hope you'll remember long after this moment ends. Wealth, real wealth, is not an accident. It is not luck. It is not magic. It is the byproduct of discipline, the harvest of daily habits, the quiet reward of choices made long before the applause ever comes. Most people want success to arrive suddenly, instantly, like a lightning strike. But success rarely arrives with thunder. It arrives the way the seasons arrive, quietly, almost imperceptibly, until one day you look around and realize everything has changed. You see, wealth comes to the person who prepares for it, to the person who tracks their money with awareness, to the person who feeds their mind with wisdom, to the person who asks daily, how did I add value today? To the person who sharpens their skills, limits their distractions, and builds a plan sturdy enough to carry their dreams. Wealth comes to the person who associates with strength, plants income, seeds every day, protects their health like treasure, and ends each day with reflection instead of regret. This is not theory. This is not philosophy floating in the clouds. This is practical, real, measurable. This is the blueprint followed by every person who has climbed from the bottom to the top with nothing but discipline in their pockets and vision in their hearts. So let me give you one final truth. Success doesn't respond to desire. Success responds to discipline. Everyone wants wealth. Everyone wants freedom. Everyone wants choices. But only a few are willing to do the quiet work. The tracking, the reading, the practicing, the planning, the reflecting that makes wealth inevitable. So tonight, make a decision. Not an emotional decision. A disciplined decision. Choose one habit, just one, and begin, because once you begin, momentum joins you. And once momentum joins you, discipline becomes a friend instead of a burden. And once discipline becomes a friend, your whole life rises. One day, people will look at your results, your confidence, your options, your lifestyle, your peace, and they'll call it luck. But you will know it wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. It wasn't a miracle. It was daily discipline. It was quiet work. It was the small habits practiced when no one clapped, no one noticed, and no one cheered. That is how wealth is built. Quietly, faithfully, deliberately, until the results speak so loudly that the world can't help but listen. My friends, go and begin the quiet work, because the quiet work always builds a loud life.